everybody, welcome back. This is another episode and edition of JSMFX, and I'm Arnold Anuro. Please, for those that are joining in for the first time, I really appreciate for you to come in today, and trust me, you're gonna learn a lot. Okay, you're gonna learn a lot because I'm about to do my account review for the month, and I'm about to also introduce some other pairs that I'll be looking at, not really trading, but just be watching, but also do analysis on them. Also display some few areas of lessons in the charts where I took some losses, and also want to let you know of those areas that you need to also be aware of so that you don't fall in the same mistake that I did. And also do a very vast information of forecast, where we'll have to look at what we are facing coming in next week and also next month. Okay, today being the last Saturday of February, I'm sure March will also have so much in store for us, only if we are risk averse, and also if we are in check with our psychology, emotions, and also risk management, and also shaping out our edge to be accurate. Okay, so welcome back. This is JSMFX. You are about to dig into the reviews of the Forex forecast of Forex forecast of 23rd, the date of 23rd to 27th of February. Yes, and then we're going to look at the forecast of 2nd to 6th of March. But first and foremost, let us start with my account review. Let's go. Okay, guys, so let's begin. First and foremost, my account. Let us see what we have during the month of February and also what we have in overall. So I'm obviously in FTMO, as you can see, and I'm trading the 50K. Now, I'll be very honest with you, as much as I'm learning to get my ways better, and also sharpening my edge, I'm also learning in the process. Okay, and as you can see, this is my account. It started off since 27th of May. Okay, and as you can see, that's last year. And as you can see, things are being not really linear, but as from the benefit of hindsight, you can see how bumpy it was before maybe it got too short to the upside. So what is happening right now is I'm trying to get ahead of knowing what was a mistake and how to rectify it. That's what I'm trying to do right now, and it seems to prove me correct, because out of my plan, I can say that it has actually built me to show where my strengths are, okay, and where my weakness is, okay, so to give me that perspective on what to avoid and what to look at. So this is my account right now. I'm trading on 50K account on FTMO. This is the first phase. I'm not going to lie to you. This is the first phase, but I believe with this kind of upward movement on my graph, or rather my metrics, this will only mean that it's very encouraging to see that actually things are working. Okay, and I promise you this, if I get to pass this 50K, I'm not going to buy any other account less than that. I'll have to scale up, I'll have to build up my portfolio and get serious in this business, because right now FTMO, the biggest account I'm sure is 200K, which that is what I'm aiming at. And if possible, by the grace of God, this year I will look to scale up to, let's say, like 1 or 2 million. Okay, but I'm really looking at to get a 2 million, and also see on how I can help you with that through my videos and learning what is going on and how to scale up yourself. So yes, so right now I'm trading at 53,100, but also on my equity you can see it's 53,583. So meaning this is still phase one, so I'm still out with $1,400 just to clear out phase one, but I'm not in a hurry. I know that I'll still get there, and if I do get there, I believe phase two won't be that much of a challenge, because phase one had a lot of lessons that phase two will need to be very much aware of eliminating or mitigating. So right here we have the profit target sitting at 7.1 based on the equity that I do have recently. As you can see from the discipline score, still at 93%, so that is good. That is good for me. Maximum daily loss, that's not bad, 1.3%. Maximum loss, as you can see, the farthest I've gone is 0.2, so that means things are good, doing okay. And yeah, there's nothing to worry about so far. Statistics, you can see there, we have the win rate. Actually, this is the equity, this is the balance. Win rate, very impressive, 51%, so that's nice. Average profit, as you can see, 178. This is because I take partials. Okay. Average loss, as you can see, is 124. Now, Sharpe ratio, like I said, Sharpe ratio, profit factor, and expectancy, that I can't explain much because, you know, it's a bit intricate thing for me to understand. But what I also keep in mind of is this lot size. Okay, so as you can see, lot size so far total has been 87.37 in total. And also number of trades. Now this is where something worries me a little bit, because if you check very well, we have 97 trades traded from May, I think it's May 27th. Yeah, May 27th. So I'll have to work on that when it comes to, what do you call it, when it comes to phase two, to see on how I can actually reduce those number of trades. But this is because also I've been, ever since I started, I was trading so much. Okay, like a day I could do like 3-5 trades. Okay, so that's why the number has jumped to that point. And because it has not gone that high above recently, you know, above 100 trades, is because I chose to be a swing trader. I chose to have my entries only at 4 hours so that I can keep myself calm and let my trades play out. So average RR, as you can see, I normally close most of my trades with 1.4 R, because I take partials on the way. Okay, and then I trail my stop loss just to protect my capital. But that's just how I do things, and that's what I'm comfortable with. Well, the expectancy, like I said, with the profit factor and the Sharpe ratio, I can't explain much. That's not my specialty. But I think I'll get time to, you know, go through this and understand what they actually mean. Now, the close trades, as you can see, starting off from 20th Feb, if I'm not wrong, actually the whole of February, you can see we had this as the first trade of the month, and it was a very big loss, a very huge loss of 646. We have the 12th February, another big loss. Okay, but they're just, you know, like 1.4, 1.5%. For this one, I think is 1.4%, 1.3, I don't know. But this one is about, you know, 0.8, 0.9%. But I looked to get back up, as you can see, from 20th Feb, closing at a break even. And then 27th Feb, that's the recent trade now on USDCHF, which is now running, and it's running very smoothly. And we'll look at that in a moment to see how it played out. Okay, so that's the charts. Sorry, that's the close trades. These are the charts. These are the analysis, or the rather overview of how my account volume, the symbols, and buy and sell ratio, on how they are measured out. With the daily PNL now, this is where I want you to concentrate a little bit. As you can see how I do my trades. Okay, I work on my trades as a swing trading session. Okay, so my nature right now, I've changed it to day, from day trading to swing trading. And as you can see, I take only one trade every week. So I had this first one, like I just showed you, from the close trades, and then the second one for the second week. As you can see, I trade so much on Thursdays, but here I had a trade on Friday. Okay, but it's only because of the lessons between these two that made me patient to actually look at now how I can enter the trades later on during the week at this specific time, or other day. Okay, so as you can see, this is the trade now running, the current one. And possibly if we do close, if I do close on this trade according to my TP, then I'll be very grateful to God that I would have at least gotten past that what do you call it, phase one. Okay, so far I can conclude for February we are standing, or I am standing at -1%. Okay, -1%, and as you can see from January we had 4%. So if you deduct that 1%, then we should be playing around 3% so far this year. Okay, based on January and February. So January we had that 4% at 2,128, and then February, if we close the month, actually if we close the month with $500 minus $500, then that means that will be a deduction of 1%. So meaning so far from January and February that will be 3%. Okay, but I'm hoping March will be a bit different, and I will get back up to actually pass those challenges and look now at my overall overview of how my account and my work is, so that I can now start to gauge on how I can pass the second phase and also get to the funding stage and the payouts and and all those celebratory kind of level. Okay, so anyway, that's just my account. That's just how I am faring right now, and I'm hoping that this trade, I have taken partials, but I'm also for that USDCHF trades I've taken partials, but I'm also hoping that with that direction that it's going, it continues selling, and if it does hit my TP where I have moved it to, then I will have passed my first one challenge, phase one challenge, and then get to the phase two. So that's just it. Let's now jump into the news before we get practical or pragmatic with the charts. And by the way, today I have a few surprises. I'm introducing another pair to actually look at and be watch, so that I can see on how maybe I can get to capitalize on it. So let's jump first onto the news before we get to the charts. Okay, so let's begin with the news. Yet again, if you just join in, my name is Arnold, and this JSMFX. Myself, by the way, I'm from Kenya, and from Mombasa. So if you are also around, let me know so that we can, link up and see what we can do about this business and do it together. But for now, let's jump into the video, starting off with the news. So for Monday next week, that is the 2nd of March, we see a couple of activities actually next week. So be very ready to feel the volatility of the market and the charts. Monday, because of what I trade, this USDCHF and Euro USD mainly, I'll be only focusing on those two, meaning that be checking out on a bit of the Swiss franc news, especially on the retail sales, but for me, I don't really concentrate much on the Euro news. I only concentrate much on the USD news. And for Monday, I can see I'll have to be very much aware about the PMI. So given the fact that the consensus it's at 52.3, while the previous data was 52.6, then this means that maybe the actual could reduce, okay, or maybe stay at the same level. But I don't want to really dig deep into that, because I'm not a fundamental guy. I only look at the technicals and actually anticipate, or rather react from where the price is and where I'd expect it to go, or rather anticipate it to go. Tuesday, excuse me, we have the Euro news, which I'll be very much aware of and looking at to see how it will affect the charts. So Euro news here with the inflation rates and the CPI, this I think will be a bit important, okay, from the pairs that I do trade. With unemployment change here and here, not really much, it doesn't concern me. So I'll just be very, very cognizant of what is going to happen on Tuesday, as maybe we prepare for Wednesday. And speaking of Wednesday, we have another PMI here. We're having a lot of PMI actually. But as you can see from on Wednesday, we have the the Gundos Beach from the, I think, what do you call it? The ECB, yes. So ECB Gundas Beach, this is something also I'll be checking on and waiting for to see what the charts can translate from that news. Thursday, you can see we have the jobless claims again. So this is also a bit important for me. So I think it's going to be a very busy week. So strap up, guys. Market is about to, like give us a direction for not only the quarter, but also the year. Okay. Be very, very aware of that. So ECB, goodness news on the euros, also a bit important for me. Retail says not that much, but let us just see what will happen. Friday, wow, okay, this is a lot. As you can see, NFP now has been, this month, it has been brought back to the first Friday of the month, which is good. I think last month NFP was done, I think, on 16th, if not on 9th, but I'm really not sorry. I think that was on 13th or 20. No, yeah, 13th or 20th, somewhere around 6 or 13th, somewhere there. So for this month of March, we see NFP coming in on the first Friday of the month. So busy day right here. I think the price the chart could be ranging before maybe looking to take out, guys, and get to the direction that it intended to go, yeah, according to the data that we're going to look at. So this just much about the week from Monday to Friday of the 2nd to the 6th of March. So how about we just jump into the chart and talk reality and talk about how the chart is actually looking like and what to anticipate on the next move for the next week of 2nd to 6th March 2026. So let's start off with the DAX before we look at the surprising pair that I told you about. Okay, so the DAX, Germany 40 CFD. Now, I'll be very frank with you. For the DAX, I won't really dive so much inside into the pair because somehow I am really not getting the pattern that it's, the thing that it's trying to do. Okay, so please bear with me. There's a lot to see, yes, but also there's less for me to show you because it didn't really move as much as I expected. Okay, and I was also out of the charts mainly. So what I can say right now is the DAX is still in an uptrend. Okay, basically still in an uptrend. I have seen no activities coming on from there because just like always we still have this demand pushing price up, price coming back to that demand, pushing price up. Last year we saw this whole range, okay, where later on with this doji price pushed up and then came back with this next doji to mitigate this demand, and then this candle, maybe things could be just looking like we're still continuing to the upside. Now if you ask me, I'll be very honest with you, I normally don't trust this kind of uptrends, from how it's looking like. Because if I placed in the RSI, or rather I think the stochastic indicator around here, we would obviously see that price is looking like it's in an overbought kind of level or session. Okay, so for me, this one is a bit intricate, so I'm still folding my hands on Germany 40 to let myself know that I shouldn't really get involved in it that much. Okay, coming in on the weekly, we see also price still shooting up, came back down, sorry, to this demand like I showed you on the monthly, and then last year we saw a very huge range, okay, with the ups and downs and not breaking any highs or lows up until here. When these lows were taken, we see price shooting to the upside. So we had this slight pullback before the upward move, which later on price came back to, you see the same big demand price came back to it in the monthly, but also in the weekly we can see we have specified or refined that demand that is nested inside that monthly demand. So that's when price came back down to this demand, okay, in the weekly, and that's the one that price reacted from to actually go to the upside. Now this is where it's a bit of a conundrum, where now price is playing around this demand and this somewhat supply. It is not an official supply for me because it has not broken any structure to the downside for me to call it supply. But prices just correctively pulled back to this candle, or rather this supply. Let's just call it POI. And yeah, for me now, I'm waiting to see how price will actually react from there. Say, for example, if it still wants to continue to the downside, then it will have to break this low. Okay, see this break this low, or maybe go up. Maybe create a demand here, go up again to maybe take out those highs, and then maybe shift the direction by creating that change of character before now we look for any supplies, and then presume that price could be changing direction from there. But for now, with this hanging man, or rather morning star, I don't know if morning or evening, we can see price is still ranging around there. So anything can happen. For me, I'm still folding my hands. I have nothing that I can call a setup from that point. The daily, we're going to start off from that demand that we just saw from the weekly. Okay, so the daily, we had that high creating that low, actually breaking this last low right here. Okay, and then we see price shooting to the upside. This was one of the trades that we missed because that confusion really got us trapped. And then, as you can see, for most of the traders that are actually in my group, the members, we advise one another, or rather I advise them to just put their stop loss to break even. And as you can see, that was a safe trade because it didn't give them that much, as much as it started off going to the direction. But as you can see, it did go to the direction, came back up, so they were taken out on break even. So right now I'm playing between that high and this low. I'm really not sure if price touched the 50% EQ from here, but with the benefit of hindsight, we see price creating that kind of a downtrend until after taking out that low. Okay, this low right here of this doji, we see price shooting to the upside like that to also take out those highs. Okay, and not just that, they came back down and then now started building that uptrend back up. Okay, so for now what I'm seeing is, let me just draw on this afresh. For now what I'm seeing is price went up like that. Okay, came back down, went back up again, came back down like that. Okay, so meaning we had a very huge pullback here, and then went back up with this candle, came back down, and then this candle, I think it went back up. Let's see, the highs of these were 319.5, the highs of these were 339, so meaning this traded higher, okay, than this one here. So again, price came down now to create a change of character. But for me to validate a chalk, I have to see a candle close below. So that there was none of that inside the daily. So again, we see price shooting to the upside to take out all those highs. So two things: either this could be the end, of that uptrend, and maybe now switch direction from there, because we already have that somewhat change of character. But to be honest, I can't really say much about this. Price is still strongly looking to go to the upside. So unless I have something tangible, I can only be honest to say not now. Not now at all. So this could be only a pullback to maybe this demand right here before maybe continuing to the upside. So let me just draw on it so that you can see and understand what I'm talking about. This one here. Okay, so for me, that's the demand that I'll be watching on to actually see if price could react from there and then continue to the upside. But I'm not advising you to take that trade, even if price gets to there. This is only for educational purposes, but generally that's what I'll be maybe watching on to see maybe if things can play out well. From the 4-hour, also we see that with this kind of uptrend that we saw on the daily, as you can see, 4-hour is actually being broken down into smaller candles to actually give us those areas to possibly look at before making that decision to anticipate on that move that we could think that it will go. So we have, for me, I'm playing between this low and this high. you can see price came back in to that demand, which actually was the doji on the daily. And then as you can see, price was just looking to just chop people, okay, chop traders before maybe continuing to the upside, as you can see, with the benefit of hindsight. So right here where the change of character, price came back to actually build this double bottom. Okay, so this is now another confluence that also I'll be looking at to actually see or expect price to come and take them out. Okay, so I'm still not sure if this is the start of that pullback, okay, the deeper pullback. And also with this demand, it has not been mitigated after this void was formed, and the change of character happening here, price has not come back there. So what we only see is that price is just moving in on to the uptrend. And as you can see right here is where when price caused this change of character, okay, price pulled back to this excuse me, this supply, and also a flip where I was anticipating for price to go down, but you can see that was one loss. Again, when price came back down, okay, after doing this pullback, coming back down, I noticed that it had broken this low and also taken out liquidity of this demand. So maybe it was ready to continue to the downside from there. So as you can see, that's another trade that was lost. Okay, but this is just on the other weeks. Okay, this is not for this week. This is just on the other weeks that I've also explained this in my previous videos. So yeah, with those losses now, I wash my hands and say no, I'm not going to get involved in DAX until it gives me something tangible. So what we have next is we have these highs, okay, being taken out from this with this week, and then another change of character was created right here, which price was pushed down to the downside. Again, when it came back, the took out this next high again, okay, right there. So you see, it's really a conundrum for me, and it's really intriguing because now I don't know. Okay, I really can't tell. I really can't wrap my head around what is actually going on the DAX, to be very honest. So I'm not really saying that we could be reversing from there, but what I can say is I really need to see something tangible before maybe assuming, or sorry, before maybe reacting, okay, from the direction that maybe DAX was to go. So for me right now, nothing on the DAX, okay, but I'll be waiting to see on how maybe this area of supply wants to maybe hold price and maybe cause it to continue to downside. So for now, I have this green POI, which is my daily demand, which I'm expecting price to at least come back down there and then continue to the upside probably. But for me, I can't really say anything about the DAX with the next direction. So let's just keep in mind of all that and see on what will happen next. Okay, so let's go now to the surprise pair before we get into the real business of USDCHF and Euro USD. Okay, so the surprise pair, I have been trying to get myself involved in the DAX, but I'm not really much in in the DXY, but I'm not really much involved right now. I am still mastering it to see on what it's actually doing, and if maybe out of my data I could collect something good which can be converted now into capitalizing it and gaining something out of it. So this is the surprise pair, the US dollar index, that is the DXY. So let's now jump into the analysis of this pair to see what I'm actually seeing, okay, or expecting. So I want to talk much about this area, okay, this area to my left. So I'm only going to start with the recent price action, which is here. Starting off with the monthly, we see this is my last low. Okay, so in this last low, we see we had a little bit of a pullback here. Okay, and then price went up, came back down because a change of character. Price came back up to that supply, and then price shot to the downside, but it only shot to the downside because you wanted to mitigate this demand, and that's when now we see price continuing to the upside to also facilitate this pullback inside this monthly, I think this is the yearly supply, something of the sort. Okay, so I've not drawn on that very clearly, but I hope you're getting what I'm trying to say. So again, we see excuse me, price shooting to the upside like that, and then causing that pullback a little bit deeper inside this the sell to buy range that started off from here, from this high, causing that pullback. So from there, we actually, it came back down to that level, okay, that POI, and it only came back down there to actually leave out some areas of liquidity. As you can see, with the benefit of hindsight, it's also left this relative loss kind of setup, so meaning they could be coming back to it later on, because as you can see from here, we don't have any demand that price reacted from, according to the way we are seeing right now. So have this high being taken out, so meaning that was a bullish change of character to signal that price would want to go to the upside. But before it came back to that demand, price shot to the upside to actually mitigate some few areas of supply here, and also build liquidity. Okay, the sense of liquidity, where later on price came and took them out like that. So again, we see another bounce from that supply, meaning they could be wanting to continue to downside. But if you forgot, we still had that change of character, bullish one, where price now has come to that supply, has returned to that demand, has returned to that demand, and now they short to the upside like that. So what is happening right now is price is playing around this low and this high, because after this demand being mitigated, we see that demand was one that was used. Actually, yes, it was used to officially break that high, to cause that break of structure, and also continue to the upside to mitigate that yearly supply that was there. Then after that, we see price coming back down, okay, to actually do a little bit of a range after this change of character, and then price shot to the upside to actually mitigate this supply and fill this void. Okay, but also after filling that void and doing all that, if you are keen enough, then you will understand that this double bottom was still left pending. Okay, and that's when price now came back down to actually take those guys out, these lows, and then mitigate this area of demand. Okay, so right now price has just come back to that supply, this one here, this supply, which I can see price is actually reacting very well from it, and maybe just wanting now to continue with that downtrend to come and mitigate. Remember this demand, it was left, okay, after the change of character, price didn't come back to that demand. So maybe this could be the reason now they just want to continue to the downside to come and mitigate this demand. Again, this also did, I don't know if it did, yes, it did mitigate this doji, okay, but still not sure. What I'm seeing is the sellers are still strong in this one, the bears, so meaning this downtrend could still continue, and I'll be looking to anticipate for price to come to this point. So where it is right now, if you got the price right around here, okay, inside this supply, and maybe put in a sell stop, you could be laughing to the bank, because as you can see, price is reacting well from that supply. But still, anything can happen. Let's just wait and see. For now, we'll have to go to the lower time frames to see if we can actually capitalize on any areas of supply around there, and also take advantage of that downtrend, and also get that money together with those sellers that actually started their journey from around here, or maybe around here. The weekly, nothing much to see. Sorry for the dirty chart, but actually using this to refer and also show you the areas of interest that I'm actually looking at. So the weekly, I don't have a structure drawn in, but also from the monthly, we can just take the same structure as the weekly. Okay, we can take the same structure on the weekly as the monthly. Okay, so for me, I'm also playing between that low and that high. Okay, right here we see that price actually caused that change of character after a series of ranges and breaking to the downside, we see that it caused that flip. Okay, so again we see price continue to downside just like we saw on the monthly, and it left out this demand. Okay, trying to give the price a break to not give people the advantage of cashing in large amounts of capital or returns. So what it did, it came and created that double bottom like we saw in the monthly. So this is how it was created, coming to mitigate inside this demand and then continue to the upside like that. So when it came back up, as you can see, we had a slight pullback, again back up, another slight pullback with this doji, another push to the upside, but they didn't mitigate this supply. Okay, so yet again after that we see price pushing down to break this low. Okay, and then cause a change of character, with later on we see. Now this would have been a very, very nice trade off the weekly, because after that change of character we see the return to this supply, and I don't know if they call it mechanically or like it was very obvious that price now shot to the upside downside because of yeah, it was textbook. It was very textbook from here that after the change of character, price shot to the upside to come to this supply and then continue to the downside like that. So with this next pullback again, this would have been another trade to take and also scale in, and also keep in mind of this double relative double bottom, which again push price to the downside. So you see a trade like this from here, okay, would actually make you calm. Why? Because you have these double relative bottoms, you still have the double bottoms to take out. Okay, so a trade from here, even if it was a 3R, I'm sure TP would be around here, which would make a lot of sense that this would be a trade to definitely take and maximize on that. The only downside to it is just for you to be patient and let it play out, because look at how much time it took. I think this was on February 2025. Oh yeah, on 3rd, sorry, on 3rd February 2025. So I think this would just take you like a whole month for it to play out. And this last one that maybe hit, or rather took out these lows, this was on, yeah, 7th March, 7th April, sorry, 7th April 2025. So for 2 months you would have waited for that, but trust me, at 2% for a 3R, 6% of a 200k account, I mean, come on, you can be patient for that. You must be patient for that. Okay, so anyway, that was a very good way to take that trade from there up until the TP right around down here. Okay, to actually target those lows also. So we see price now coming back down to mitigate that demand and then short to the upside. Remember that supply on the monthly, that is where it actually built that supply and then price pushed down. So inside here now I have a structure where I'm playing between this high and this low, and as you can see, price was just ranging, taking out guys like here, taking out those lows, and then price shot to the upside like that. Okay, to come back up here. Okay, and then came back down again, take out those lows and causing that change of character, and again we see price coming back to the supply. And yeah, this would have been also another great area to take a trade after change of character and then the return. So this would have been the supply that you could take. Still, I'm not saying it's an official supply because it had not broken any structure, especially this low. But if you check very well, we see that we have this as a point of interest where price reacted from and then shot to the downside like that. So even for this one, just like here, we could have a very good trade from there. But not to worry, as you can see, the eyeballs was broken, but not to the candle close. What I am seeing right now is I have this price action right here looking like a pullback according to me. So maybe this could be a pullback before maybe continuing to the downside. So why am I looking at it that way? First and foremost, I have this demand where price has reacted from, okay, and also some other possible relative bottoms that also price could want to target. And not just that, we have this corrective pullback which price was not actually reacting from any areas of interest. And also after the change of character on the 4-hour, especially I think around here, I've not drawn on it, around here we see price had not come back. Let me just show you. Around here we had this, no, let me just do that again. Sorry about that. We have this low, there was a pullback here, okay, and then another pullback here, okay, then price came down, then price shot up, take out all those highs, caused a change of character, price came back down, went back up, came back down again to that demand, and then shot to the upside. So this shoot to the upside, to actually this one just came and mitigated, okay. So they shot to the upside right there, took out those highs, and then price did come back to this demand. Remember this, we have an inside bar here, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, we have an inside bar here acting as a demand that has not been mitigated. So this move to the upside all the way ignored this demand. So for me, I'll be expecting maybe this supply for price to react from there and then continue to the downside, maybe to come over to this demand right there. So this also can be another trade, but I'm not advising you to take it. Please do it at your own risk. But that is just how I look at the market. So, and such setups. So that's just the weekly of the dollar index. So let's now jump into the daily to actually see what we have in store. So if you check very well, we have that supply, the weekly supply right here. Okay, sorry, the monthly supply, and also I think the weekly, yeah, the weekly. So for the daily now, as price reacted from that supply and then came back down, we see very well that we are playing now between that high and this low, okay, given the fact that it broke this last low right here. Okay, so price now looks like it wants to pull back like that, but as you can see, we have this move to the upside. Actually, we have this move right here which created this demand, the green one, but we also have this move to the upside which did a pullback right here, and then price moved to the upside again, came back down to cause that change of character. Actually, there's no bullish change of character around here, so meaning this pullback could be just what do you call it, could be temporary, okay, before continuing with the sell before continuing with the sell trend that we just looked at. Okay, so for me, this can be a change of character, and as you can see, price came back up to take out those highs. So maybe this could be the pullback. Okay, this could be the pullback to maybe here, but for me, this demand had already been mitigated with this. I don't know if it's a, what do you call it, the stones, gravestone something, gravestone candle, and then price shot to the upside. I don't know if it's a morning or the evening star, but anyway, I'm looking to anticipate maybe for this pullback to come down to here before maybe continue to the upside, maybe to this supply right here. I've not drawn on it, to that supply before maybe continuing to the downside. So that's just my anticipation on the daily, and I'll just draw this one here so that I don't forget to look at it coming in next week or maybe the rest of the year. And also I do have a change of character right here. Okay, the price still pushed, was pushed down, price pushed, was pushed down to come and also cause that break of structure, or the break of structure on of the low on the daily. So I think that that is the way I'll be looking at, and that is what I'll be checking on coming in on the daily for the DXY. So you see how I'm trying to dissect all these things to actually see on where my bias will be, you know, coming in the near future. So 4-hour, also this is the area where I think from the daily, this should be, let me see. Let me just put in, let me put this visible on the daily. Yeah, right there. Okay, it's right around there. So as you can see, this is the supply now that I'm be focusing on. So coming into the 4-hour, this is the supply. Okay, the supply that I've been working on to see if price maybe could get to that point. But for now, because we didn't see the bullish change of character on the daily, we have it on the 4-hour because we have this pullback, price push down, and then price continued to the upside. But before that, they created this demand. Okay, price came back to it and then shot to the upside. So right here also we have a couple of change of characters like this one here, which now price pushed down after a mitigation of just the buy to sell range, this brown color, sorry, brown POI, and then continue to the downside. Okay, to come and mitigate now that daily. Remember that daily POI, let me not call it demand, but POI, where price now reacted from there to cause that change of character, had the return, but not really to this demand. Okay, and then range a little bit before continuing to the upside. We have an ascending triangle here, which after the break of that triangle to the upside, we have price coming back down to this demand and then short now directly to the upside from there. So we see again price going up to come and mitigate that buy to sell range, but that was not actually the intention, because as you can see, price shot to the upside to take out those highs. So that was just a liquidity point for me. Also, this was a fair value gap point. Okay, the dotted range POI, where now I'll be expecting for price to continue to the upside and also take it out, that fair value gap point. So here we see a pushback. Okay, then price came back up to actually create that double top. Let me just measure this real quick to see if that's okay. The highs of this were 0.74 and the highs of this were 0.78, so meaning this was a high. Okay, so when price came back down, that was now an official change of character, bearish one. Again, we have the return to that supply, and then that was short-lived because after the push down, we have a return back to that supply again, this one here. So right now, I'm seeing another change of character here, right here, where price now has pushed back to, and then maybe looking to see if maybe they can react from that demand and then continue to the upside, because my anticipation is that this supply can get mitigated before maybe continue to the upside, and also maybe just continue with that move to the upside to create that daily facilitate that daily temporary pullback to maybe this supply before continuing to the downside. But let's not assume so much. For now, what I'm seeing is this as my high, the eyeballs that just got broken with these candles. Okay, and price could be just, you know, ranging before doing the actual pullback inside maybe the 50% EQ. So first and foremost, my 50% EQ, the first one could be here, and also the second one could be here, because this is the actual change of character, sorry, the actual demand that after the chop price didn't come to back to. So maybe price could also come back down there before maybe continue to the upside. So still anything can happen. For me, what I can say is I'll be very mindful of this demand and also this demand to see if I can capitalize on that. But I don't see very much weight on this demand for price to come to, because I have this daily POI that could hinder or maybe block price to actually come in deeper inside here and just continue to the upside from maybe this demand. Okay, so still anything can happen. Let us just wait and see on how things can play out. So I don't want to go to 15 minutes. That is not my nature. I am a swing trader, so I'm going to be very patient, and even being a swing trader, I still get trades during the week. So I just have to be patient and wait and see how things will play out, maybe from this demand, okay, or maybe also from this demand. So anything can happen. Let's just wait for next week and yeah, see what the DXY can give us. So for now, also, let's not forget that even with the structure range from that high of that high and that low, price has also pulled back to the premium side of the structure. So yeah, also price could actually be ready to continue to the downside from there, but that will only play out given the fact that what the year will give us of 2026. But for now, I'm only seeing this as an uptrend like that. Okay, price has shot to the upside. So maybe we could have that pullback before continuing to the upside, say to this supply or this supply, before also continuing to the downside. So that's just it. That's how I'm looking at things. Let's now jump into Euro USD before we finish up with the USDCHF. And good luck on this pair, by the way. If you're not in my channel, please join in so that you can get to see the updates and also live trading that we do in the group. Okay. So Euro USD, I'm going to continue with this one before we look at USDCHF, because there's a lot to see on USDCHF and a lot of lessons to learn. So Euro USD, as you can see from the monthly, still price is still playing around that low and that high. Price has pulled back to the discounted area, so maybe this could be the reason why now they just want to continue to the upside. But that's not the case so far, because as you can see, we're still in a downtrend, because right here we have this high breaking this low, so meaning this is still a downtrend to the downside. Also, I have this trend line which evidently has been broken, so maybe all that is just confusion. Maybe it could be the start of the uptrend that it started off from down there, that we just saw when I zoomed out, okay, on the charts. From here we see we have the change of character, and then price still range around there, came back down to mitigate again a little bit. I don't think, yeah, they didn't touch this demand. So just from there, with this fair value gap around here, we see price shooting to the upside. So what we have right now is, after this pullback, price shot to the upside to come and mitigate this supply. So meaning this what do you call it, pullback with this candle could be just temporary before continuing to the upside. But if I do get a break below this low, then that will only mean that we have a change of character like this, and then we have push back to maybe a supply around there, and then take advantage of changing that direction or riding on that direction to the downside to maybe now come and mitigate this area of demand, or also these exchanging wicks. Okay, so let's now jump into the weekly and see what we have in store. Okay, so from the weekly, we can see for me, I'm still looking at this as an uptrend, because after that high range for a little bit here, we see price shooting to the downside, okay, to take out that low, and then price again shot to the upside to take out that high. So meaning now we're just continuing to the upside just like that. Okay, so from the weekly, I still don't have a move to a change of direction to actually point out my highs, okay, my swing high from there. So what I can say is I'll just continue to be patient. What I have for now is I have this uptrend, okay, the price is still continuing like that, and as you can see here, now we got that slight pullback, okay, to this demand, which now was used to break that high, but only with a wick. Either way, we see that price now maybe could be doing that corrective pullback. So for me, I'm anticipating for this pullback to continue, possibly to this demand, before maybe making any decisions to continue to the upside, because ideally we have, or rather I have, this supply right here that has not been mitigated or touched. So maybe that could be the one that will be used for price to come to, and then maybe look for any confluence or maybe idea of sales if we do get all those confluences that we normally look at clearly, and then ride that reversal to the downside together. But for now, if you ask me, I see this as a POI, very significant POI, where price is right now, whereby price has just come in. Let me just try and draw on it. We have this move to the downside to this candle, and then a pullback from here, and then a move to the downside to break out these lows. So for this candle, I see it being a pullback to this POI. So maybe this could be the one that will be used to push down slightly to that demand before maybe continuing, or rather reacting and continuing to the upside like that. So still, anything can happen. But what I can say is, let's just be patient and also look at the lower time frames to see if that will actually play out. On the daily now, excuse me, on the daily now, we see that that demand that was created around here, starting off from the structure, by the way, no offense, we have this high and this low, okay, price range around there, okay, and then later on price shot to the upside. So for the weekly, we have this week huge week demand, the demand that we just looked at, where we're expecting price to come to. But before that, we still have this demand here also that price has reacted from. So you see, anything still can happen. Okay, price would be reacting from here, okay, to continue to the upside, or also just inducing buyers to buy before maybe coming and taking them out, okay, at that point. So what I can say is this demand is truly holding, because as you can see, we had that move to the downside. We have that change of character right here, okay, by breaking out these highs, and then price came lower to officially mitigate again this demand before maybe looking to have that corrective pullback to the upside like that. Okay, so either that was just a liquidity sweep and then, liquidity grab and then continue to the upside, or maybe this also can be an inducement to actually continue to the downside to come and mitigate this demand. Remember, there is this demand right here that after the change of character on the daily, price has not come back to. So maybe that also can be an anticipation to expect price to come to that level or of POI before maybe continuing to the upside according to the whole bias and trend. So what am I seeing here? I am seeing this hanging man, or hammer, sorry, this hammer being the one, let me just draw on it, being the one that price wants to react from. So let me just draw on it like that, and then remove this visibly from the week. Is it? Not the daily, like that. Okay. So I'm seeing this a hanging man, if I'm not wrong, or rather, I don't know, reverse dodge or something, where price has correctively pulled back to that area. Okay, because this is that area that reacted from this demand, okay, and then shot to the upside before continuing to the downside. So this is the one that was pushed price to the downside, and now price is just filling up this candle. Okay, it's filling up this void before maybe continuing to the downside. So I'm not telling you to take that trade from there, ride it to the downside. But for me, that is my anticipation for maybe price to react from that area and then continue to the downside. But still, anything can happen. So let's just wait and see how the next month of March will play out. Okay. Now, the 4 hour, last but not least, is that we have a couple of demands that I'm going to actually look at. Okay, first and foremost, from the daily, I am looking to anticipate that move to the downside, because I still see this as a void after this change of character and this unmitigated demand. Okay, they left all these voids, so maybe this could be a liquidity point to come and take them out. So going into the 4 hour now, starting off with the structure, also the 4 hour is bullish. As you can see, price shot to the upside from there, but before that we had a change of character around here, which also price didn't come to. So you see now this daily demand has a 4 hour unmitigated demand also. So maybe both of them, price could actually wait for them to come to. Okay, but either way, let's just wait and see. We don't move the market, we just react from it. Okay, so we have the push up to that supply, which later on after this pullback, we see another slight demand here being created, and then price pushed to the upside. So up until here, this low is when now we see that change of character, and then after a little bit of a range and uh, reacting from this fair value gap, price shot to the upside again. But before that, we see a slight pullback right here, and then price shot to the upside to now officially come and mitigate the supply that was left unmitigated after this change of character. So again, we see price pushing back up and then coming down, okay, to take out those lows, coming back up, and then officially come back down to break these lows and also cause that change of character. Okay, the whole change of character. So right here we have this corrective pullback, okay, playing between now the eyeballs of this high and this low. We have this corrective pullback, okay, that now got me involved, getting me involved in this trade to the downside like that. So again, I see price reacting from this demand, but it was just inducement, which later on price came and took them out and also break that low. We see again price pushing up to take out this supply, but before that you can see very well that I had another trade played out here, and I also told people we can take this one, but unfortunately it didn't play out. So as you can see, the benefit of hindsight, price pushed up to come and take out all those guys, including us that had sold from here. And as you can see, price now ranged, okay, price range from there. So what I'm having evidently now is I have this change of character, okay, sorry, I have price coming down to mitigate that daily demand, and also this 4-hour demand right here, and after their price range, and then went back up to actually take out these highs to cause that change of character. So this return here is just to all those demands that were left around this area before the choke. Okay, so after that choke, we see price pushing back down to here, and then price now continuing to the upside. Okay, maybe telling us that between this high, the structure of these eyeballs high and eyeballs low, they are doing that slight pullback. Okay, that slight pullback before maybe to the premium side and also above the 50% EQ of the fib before maybe continuing to the downside. So what we have is we have this high creating this low with this pullback, and then up again to actually create, to mitigate deeper inside this demand. And then when it came back down right here, causing that change of character, we see price now coming back down to this POI, and then continuing now to the upside like that, okay, to come and mitigate this POI. So if you ask me, this is still a very huge range, which we will be, or rather I will be expecting for price to react from. But for now, this for me is still a pullback, and I'll be expecting at least price to, push a little bit back up to maybe this supply. Okay, remember there was this choke, but price still didn't come back to this supply. So maybe this could be the reason. This one here could be the reason of the pullback to that supply before maybe continuing to the downside, because ideally we are still in a downtrend according to the internal structure of the whole swing structure of the 4-hour. Okay, so right about here I will maybe look to see if I can get involved from this POI, okay, and push price up. But for me, I'll be honest with you, so far I'm just folding my hands on this one, because I really don't love the way I see price playing around such levels, because as you can see we have these relative highs and these relative lows, the sell side and the buy side, where I'll be expecting to see which one will be taken out first before maybe anticipating on the move that we are actually expecting for price to go, and also respect according to the whole bias that we just talked about, the sell bias. Okay, so I think that that will just be all from the 4-hour. I won't want to go into the 15-minute, but what I can say out of that pullback from the 15-minute, let's see if we can get an overview of that to actually show you maybe what to expect. I've actually not drawn on it because there's so much to look at right here. So I don't know. Yes, that's okay. So it's a bit also clunky, also chunky, also dirty. Okay, so but with the benefit of hindsight, we see that structure continuing to the downside, because even after price shot to the upside to signal for us that they wanted to continue to the upside, we still see that high breaking this low. Okay, meaning now that this could be also a pullback, just like the 4-hour, to around here, okay, or maybe around here, around the supplies, before continuing to the downside. So still anything can happen also on the 15-minute, but what I'm seeing is we also have a downtrend on the 15 minutes. So maybe they want to mitigate this area before maybe continuing to the downside. But for me, 15 minutes is, I don't really look at it that much. But that's just an overview I wanted to give you from my perspective. So let's now finish off with the USDCHF, and yeah, call it a week, call it a month, call it a day, and call it a session. So last but not least, let's now look at the USDCHF and close in for this session. So from the monthly, price came back to this week, okay, WICK, weak demand, okay, which actually has breached beyond, or rather below, that area. So meaning that price is still continuing to sell. We don't know how far it will go, because as according to the monthly, we see the price is still, you know, doing that downtrend move to the downside. So anything can happen, but for me, this is still dumping. Okay. The weekly, we see, for me, I see this as still pullback, okay, after all this range. And also this pink is the supply that we looked at from the monthly, okay, which price actually reacted from, and officially, or from officially just push price to the downside like that. So what I'm seeing right now with the recent price action is we have this pullback. Okay, we don't have any change of character, bullish one. So we only have that pullback, and then price shot to the downside, and then again price came back up, but only to that POI. Okay, so because it's not breaking up or down, now we are ranging. So meaning in between this high and this low, price is just dancing around there. Okay, for me, I'm anticipating for price to continue to the downside. Okay, anticipating for it to go to the downside, possibly break this low before maybe coming back up to maybe cause a change of character and do an official reversal. But you know, that can take a while because this is a high time frame. So let's not get ahead of ourselves with you know, more over expecting a price to, you know, do some sort of stuff that we didn't actually expect them to do. On the daily, we can see very well that we are playing between now that high, this one here, and this low. Just like the weekly, we've also seen that we didn't have a bullish change of character. So also the daily, I can say the same. But what I have in the daily is that there was this move to the upside, the pullback, and then we had this inside back creating a demand, and then price pushed to the upside. So when price came down, it only came down to take out those lows, okay, and then correctively again continue to the upside. So as I move my cursors and my path, you can see how it was creating those demands and reacting from them, creating those demands and reacting from them. Okay, so up until here, we see this as a POI also, a supply POI, where price now has reacted from, okay, coming back down to this POI demand. And then as you can see, price was ranging for a little while around there, but later on we see officially price breaking this trend line, and also maybe ready now to take out the whole of this side liquidity to the downside as we anticipated on the monthly. So maybe that could be the direction that I'll be waiting to see price continuing according to the benefit of hindsight, and also the move and the break of this trend line. Now this is where things got interesting, as I have a lot to show you, and I have a lot to help you learn and have experience on. So starting off from the structure, I have this high and this low. I think it's the same as daily. And as you can see, price shot to the downside very aggressively to break out that low. So from here, because we didn't see the change of character on the daily and the weekly, we have a change of character on the lower time frames, which is the 4-hour. Okay, so right here we had the pullback, and then price shot to the downside like that, and then came back up to range a little bit. Then from that POI, we see price evidently shooting to the upside and also causing that change of character, and officially also having an IBOS to the upside. Okay, so the swing structure is still bearish. now the IBOS is bullish. So meaning we could be having or facing that deeper pullback to the upside, but we have a lot of surprises to actually see from this pair. So buckle up, buckle up. I have a lot to explain. So we have that pullback to this POI, this demand, and then corrective pullback, excuse me, to that supply. Okay, which later on, as you can see, I had a trade on there, but this was I can say this was a stupid trade, because instead of reacting from this supply, okay, I was looking to take advantage of that run, expecting, not actually anticipating, but expecting that pullback to continue. So because that wasn't the case, we see price coming back down to cause that change of character, and then, taking me out of that trade. That is lesson number one. We don't expect, we react. So from here, if you look at the lower time frames of 15 minutes, trust me, there was a very good entry around this supply. So because that didn't happen, you can see very well that price shot to the downside, okay, to actually create that double bottom, and then shot back up, okay, to leave that double bottom pending, which later on, as you can see from the benefit of hindsight, price came and took them out. But before that happened, we have this low taken out, causing that change of character, and then we have the return to that supply, which later on was the one that was used to push price to the downside. So if I had reacted from here, I would have had two trades. Number one, from after this change of character and the return right here. Number two, after this change of character and the return to the supply. Okay, so those could have been two trades, very, very lucrative to the downside. And also we had this the ascending triangle that was broken. So meaning after breaking to the downside, price was just evidently telling us that we are coming down because of this double bottom and because of this low from this demand that actually wasn't used to come and initially mitigate that official demand that was left here. Okay, so also this demand also had liquidity. So yeah, you can see how it actually played out. Again, we see price now shooting to the downside lower, and as you can see, it came and took price out, sorry, this low out, and also this relative loss that was actually created, especially from this last pullback. Again, after there, we see price shooting to the upside. There was a change of character here, a bullish one. I didn't draw on it, but as you can see from the bullish change of character, price came back down to that demand, okay, especially this sell to buy range demand, which now NFP helped out with, the pushing price to the upside. So after that, we have this corrective pullback to the downside, okay, to come and touch again this demand after, NFP, and also to fill out that void of NFP that was created on that day. I think this was the second week, yes, second week of February. That was on 11th, yes, 11th Wednesday. Okay, so this was a trade. Now I shared it in the group, my Telegram group. It's actually free. If you want, you can enter. Just check on the link on the description box below. Yes, so this was the trade that I got guys, taking. And as you can see, price shot to the upside very well. Okay, but before that, they created this demand. Okay, push price up, came back, reacted from that demand, push price up, came back to this demand that was created, and then continued with that pullback to the upside. Okay, so remember we have that, so remember we have that IBOS right here, okay, the price is actually trying to pull back to, okay, and also create that facilitation to that daily, what do you call it, daily POI, okay. So at this point right here, as you can see, price, I was expecting again, I was expecting price to continue to the upside, same as here. But instead, I didn't react. I was actually expecting. So, that is just like, betting on something that is not actually trying to tell you. Because what I forgot is I forgot about this green supply, or rather green POI supply, which price was actually trying to react from. Okay, so meaning when price now came back down like this, it went back up to create those double top, and then came down aggressively to cause a change of character. And after that pullback, it was official that this change of character now was in shape. So again, if you check, we see price coming back up, okay, from this demand, price coming back up, range a little bit, and then now started building that downward trend to the downside. So we have this mitigation to this demand, okay, then price went up, okay, to that supply, came back down to that to take out these lows and also take out that demand. So meaning a downtrend was being formed here. So what did I do? I did another trade from this demand again, expecting. So what I was trying to do here is I was forcing the direction of the market, which was not even displaying, because what was strong for me, or rather for the market, for the chart, it was this green daily demand, the green daily supply POI, and then this 4-hour POI. Okay, all those put together, price was reacting from it and then changing the direction to cause that move to the downside and giving us that sell kind of trend. Okay, so here another failed trade, okay, because price went our way and then still came back down to take us out. Okay, again, now I thought I'd maximize, or rather, you know, take advantage of that move to the upside, and I place another trade around here. But all these trades now, I didn't show them in my FTMO account because I have other sessions, I have other trade, I have other accounts, sorry, which I'm looking to also scale in to see if I can get, you know, my daily bread as I'm waiting on FTMO. So you can see how many trades I actually lost here. I lost the first, second, third, and then fourth. Okay, so meaning, I won't lie to you, I mean, I don't draw down, especially on the funded next, but I think I'll get to, you know, show you that next time, one day, when I'm continuing with my data, because that is just kind of like an account for collecting data on the things, or that are the mistakes that I'm actually going through. So right here now, after I saw that this low was taken out, price shot back down, shot back up, okay, to that supply, because this was the only supply that was left. So what did I tell myself? I told myself that I'm not going to react from this demand, because initially we had a change of character, we have this excuse me, downward trend. So meaning this could be just the mitigation to this supply, and then price could be ready to now continue to the downside. So what did I do? I placed in sell stops around here. Okay, price tagged me and then came back up. Okay, but because in one of my accounts my stop loss was a bit low, because I, you know, kept on juggling, because that's okay, that's another weakness that I have that I need to work on also, the juggling of the stop loss up and down. I need to also make peace with my stops, to just leave them where they are, like this one, okay, and just let the trade play out. If it does come to my stops, just like here, okay, I should not fear and just let the trade play out as it wishes. Okay, but for me, I reacted from there. One of my count was taken out from here, okay, around the stop loss from there. And for FTMO now, this was the one that actually got me back up to my metrics, and also giving me that elation and hope, and also confirmation that I'm still getting back on track, you know, onto the road of passing the first one. So this was the trade that I took, and as you can see, with the benefit of hindsight, price breached and closed below this demand, and then continue to the downside. So meaning, now I'm on the right track, anticipating that this daily supply POI could be the one pushing price to the downside, and then come and take those guys, all those guys out. Remember this trend line that I talked to you about, that from the daily, it has been broken. That is one. Number two is a sell side liquidity around here. Maybe the guys that bought around here, or maybe bought around here after NFP. Okay, so that's just it. That's just how I am looking at that what do you call it, 4 hour of the USDCHF. Yes, I was expecting at least price to come back up here, but also I had to think to myself, because the Euro USD and USDCHF, 90% of the time they move opposite of each other. Okay, so as we saw on the Euro USD, price is actually buying, okay, to facilitate those pullbacks. For the USD CHF, price is selling to now continue that trend, or maybe just take out these lows before maybe reversing as anticipated. Okay, but all that will only leave that to the big guys, and let them see, or let them tell us what direction they actually want to move to. So for now, all these losses, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, were lessons learned, and coming in next week, I'll have to wait to see how things will actually play out. But for now, this is just how I'm looking at the market. With the DXY also, I'll keep track on that. For Euro USD, USD CHF, those are the ones that I'm actively on right now, but I'll also be very much interested to see what will play out with the DXY or possibly the DAX. But for now, I won't have much. I'll just leave you there, and I'll let you know also that if you found any value from what I actually do, please don't forget to follow, share, subscribe, and all those humble things that you guys do. For now, I'll just leave you there, and if you want us to trade together, please check out on all the links that I'll put in the description box below. If you also want private mentorship to actually go step by step to prove these points to you, look at the confluences and where to place your trades, let me know also in my inbox, either Telegram or TikTok, so that I can help you out and work out on a plan on where I can hold your hand and help you with to shorten your journey. Okay, so anyway, I don't have much. I just want to say thank you for everyone that has joined in up to now. May you have a nice day, have a nice week, have a nice month, and also have a successful trading journey. Peace.